I'm on my second kid, and I still cannot find the time.
How to handle different seasons of motherhood is really difficult. And I think it's probably the age old question that women have sat around fire pits trying to figure out what is the best way that we can manage both taking care of ourselves while taking care of tiny humans. And this woman has 2 kids under 2. I've been there, and it is not fun. It is because you're thinking for other people who don't think for themselves yet. And that's what's exhausting. Those first 6 years of motherhood, you have to genuinely think about it like your child's brain isn't functioning yet, because you're thinking for them. You're making their choices for them, which is why at the end of the day, you're like, why am I so tired? You've been thinking for other humans all day long. Of course you're tired. And in each season, like, she's talking about how like the naps aren't lining up well, and getting up early is not an option because you need your sleep, and staying up late isn't an option because you need your sleep, and you're just trying to manage things. How do you get me time? For me, a big one in those kinds of seasons is I got the noise canceling headphones, and I call them my office. Like, I'm going into my office, I put my noise canceling headphones on, and I can't hear as much. I can hear if there's a problem, but I'm not going to hear the everything, and I'll just put some peaceful noise on in the background, just some regular, like, I usually look up dark academia, and I find something in one of those playlists. It's like a perfect background noise. That's what I use for work. That's what I use when I'm just trying to do household chores and not have anybody talk to me. That might help during this season. But then also remember that season's going to change, and there's going to be a season where they don't need you as much, and you will be able to replenish these systems. But some seasons require you to pour out more of yourself. The goal in motherhood is to never pour out. It's to live in the overflow, which means that you've poured so much into yourself that out of the overflow is what you're able to give to everybody else. But there are seasons that are hard, like 2 under 2, where you are pouring out, and that part of your cup is it's emptying. So know that after this season passes and you start to get a little bit more margin, you need to just refill the cup before you think about what is going to happen with the overflow, because it's still going to be some time to be able to feel like your new self again. And this is kind of where we go, like, I miss the old her. I miss who I used to be, and I miss like when I was able to be free and fun. And the reality is she's not coming back, because she doesn't have the same experience as you have. She doesn't understand how to love a tiny human the way that you love. She doesn't understand all the things of what your life is now. She is not coming back. But a new evolved version of you is going to find her fun again. And you're going to find the components of the old you that you want to bring into the new version of you. We are evolving upwards. We are not going backwards to an old version of us. It's okay to grieve that version in that season, because it's hard, it's chaotic, and you kind of go, I used to be able to sleep in and make careless choices and do whatever I want to do. It's okay to grieve that. At the same time, we want to be forward thinking and realize that we are pouring into ourselves so we can pour into our children to make sure that we are whole and they eventually will become whole too. So give yourself grace. It's just a hard season. Now, my go-to in this season was a long bath. I would take a long bath at the end of the day when all of my stuff was done and everybody was asleep and everything was done. I was able to just take a long bath, and that's still kind of my go-to, because it just gives me a moment to stop and be me where nobody needs me, and I am just good for a little bit. So find whatever it is, whether it's a hot coffee or a little bit of time reading a book or a bath, and just allow yourself to be you for a moment, to fill up that cup, so that eventually you'll only have to pour out of the overflow and not have to actually pour out and empty yourself.